Good afternoon. In order to get things done, it's incredibly important to have proper motivation. In fact, as we were speaking earlier, Rick and I were speaking earlier, we were talking about some fears, and one of the number one fears in the world is what? Speaking in public, absolutely. Number one fear, almost every survey you find, the number one fear is speaking in public. The number two fear is snakes, and the number three fear is death. So, what I've concluded based on that information is that when you are sitting in the funeral home at a wake, most of the people would rather be in the box than giving the eulogy. But seriously today, I got into speaking in a very unlikely manner. You know, we were chatting and they were asking me, how long have you been doing this? And tell me a little bit about how you became a speaker. So I decided to share this with you today. Unlikely circumstances made me a professional speaker. You see, in college, I was a football player. I played a little D3 football down at a little school in Delaware, and I just wanted to go to college and play football. You know, important things. And I had three major objectives. One was play football. Number two was drink beer, and I think this group knows all about that based on the alcohol consumption last night, from what I'm hearing. And number three was chase girls, everything a good red-blooded American boy would do. However, and you knew there was a however coming, right? However, I did have to occasionally go to class. So, football players, we got this down. We're going to make it easy. We have to keep our GPA up so we can play ball. So what's the one thing you want to do? You probably heard about basket weaving, these easy K art classes and all that. No. Drama was the number one, get an A easy. Because look at us, football players. We are made to carry stuff. They put us on as stagehands. We carry stuff on, we carry stuff off. We paint, we hammer, we nails. We do all the things we can do on stage. So I signed up for drama. Now our drama professor, Professor Lewis Wells, he had a soft spot in his heart, a very soft spot for big guys like me, football players like me. And he loved the team, and he loved having football players just being there for him and being in drama with him. Professor Wells also liked to get us involved. So here I am, show up for drama, going to get my easy A, keep my GPA up, and Professor Wells says, Mr. Kolster, I think you need to be in my production this fall. I said, oh, no, Professor. You got the wrong guy. Remember, look at this is the body made for carrying stuff. I said, Professor, I'm not going to do it. He says, no, Mr. Kolster, you're going to be in my performance. You're going to be in my play this year. I said, Professor, look, I just want to carry stuff, paint stuff. I'm really not interested in that. I said, but okay, I'll bite, but why? Note to self, do not ask a college professor a simple question like why, because he will give you the most unlikely answer. Professor Wells looked at me, he said, Mr. Kolster, this is why you will be in my production. You have this large presence about you. You have this deep set voice. You have these dark eyes and a big nose. Really? Big nose? I'm a little confused, Professor. How does a big nose qualify me to be on stage? He says, Mr. Kolster, you're going to be on stage. And I still refuse. Professor, I am not going to be on stage. I'm not. He says, Mr. Kolster, let me ask you a question. Yes, sir. What can I answer for you? He says, let me ask you this question. Would I be correct in assuming that you would like to pass English literature? You see, he was our English literature professor as well. Would I be correct in assuming that you'd like to pass English literature this semester? And I simply turned around and I said, so, Professor, what part would you have me play? Unlikely circumstances and proper motivation. That's the key to success. The key to getting things done is the proper motivation. We have to be motivated. Where does our motivation stem from? Where does it come from? It comes internally. So think about it. Today, my goal is threefold. Number one is to inform you. I hope to leave you with some information you can take back to your offices. You can share with your staff, share with your team, Share with the people that you live and work with. Number 2 is to inspire you. Inspire you to be the best that you can be. Be the leader in your organization. Be the leader in your team. Be the leader in your office. Lead from where you stand. And third is to incite you. I want to incite you to action, because without action, nothing happens. So, the way we're going to do that, we're going to talk about 3 basic ideas. And I put a little thing together for us today, so let's see if this works. By the way, if you have your phones, we've always asked you to silence your phones and do all that kind of stuff. If you have your phone, please take your phone out. Do you have one of those? Everybody has smartphones, right? Please take your smartphone out. And there's my Twitter. I'd love you to tweet. I set up a little BOMA Fort Worth 2014 hashtag. And let's get some tweets going. Let's see if we can light Twitter on fire. Because you remember Ellen DeGeneres, remember at the Oscars? She blew up Twitter. Let's see if we can blow up Twitter here with ourselves, okay? It's going to take pizza. I can get pizza. We can do that. My Facebook page is Coach Rick's Ball Truth. So I take a snapshot, go to my Ball Truth, post something up there, say I'm watching Coach Rick, and I'm watching him speak and motivate us. So go ahead and let's do that. I'll leave that up there. But the 3 components to getting things done and making things happen are very simple. Attitude, commitment, and action. Real simple components. Attitude, commitment, and action. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, are you guys ready? Are you ready? Yeah, I want to hear I see some heads nod. Do you mind if I take this jacket off real quick? Because it's a little warm up here. I'm going to take this off. I'll set this thing right here. I'm going to roll up my sleeves and get to work. How about that? Attitude, it takes a lot from attitude. Attitude is going to be the thing that changes the face of your business. And in fact, attitude is so important. What attitude do we choose to embrace every single morning when you wake up? What is that attitude that you embrace every single morning? Is it one of, oh God, I got to get up, I need coffee? Although I heard a couple people actually did that this morning after the festival last night. The alcohol consumption was a little bit off the charts. Rumor had it. Not that I knew anything, but do you wake up in the morning when you go, oh God, it's morning, I don't want to get out of bed? Or do you wake up in the morning and go, man, thank God it's morning. I'm so happy to be alive. I'm happy to be here. What attitude do you choose to embrace every single morning when you get out of bed? What attitude will you embrace as you keep going? I want you to watch this real quickly. Little something here. And let's just see what attitude can do.
Look, I can be a shark. Now, my whole house is great. I can do anything good. I like my school. I like anything. I like my dad. I like my cousins. I like my aunts. I like my Allisons. I like my moms. I like my sisters. I like my dad. I like my hair. I like my haircuts. I like my pajamas. I like my stuff. I like my rooms. I like my whole house. My whole house is great. I can do anything good. Yeah. I can do anything good. Better than anyone. Better than anyone.
That's Jessica. Jessica is 4 years old when she made that. She's now 16 years old. This is on the internet. You can find it on YouTube. Just Google Jessica motivation. You'll find it. But imagine if you woke up every single morning just like that. Just like Jessica. How do you think her day went? You think her day went pretty good? Yeah. I like my hair. Well, okay, let me check. I like my house. I like my friends. Hair's a tough thing for me. But really, in the future, it's going to take some effort and the right attitude to grow. It's going to take the right attitude to maintain and continue to develop as a leader in your organization. Ladies and gentlemen, attitude is everything. Attitude is key. In fact, attitude is a great multiplier. It's the thing that will change the way your business looks, runs, and gets results. Attitude drives results. Bottom line, attitude drives results. So what attitudes do you embrace in the morning? Do you embrace that attitude of, like some did this morning and wanted some Advil this morning? Or do you embrace that attitude of anything is possible. I challenge you today to embrace an attitude of anything is possible. You see, attitudes are simple. Attitudes are simple. And when I say attitudes, I do not mean Queen Latifah. Oh, no, you didn't attitude. Not that type of attitude, but your belief system. That's really what attitude is all about. What are your beliefs? What do you put in? How many here are familiar with a little bit of computer programming lingo called GIGO? G-I-G-O. Anybody familiar with that? It stands for garbage in, garbage out. Well, I say it stands for good in, good out. If you put good in, you're going to get good out. What good do you put in every single morning? What attitude is it? Would you agree with me that 95% of the people you meet have something negative to say? It's not going to work. Most people will say, boy, you know, we tried that before. You're in a meeting. We don't do it that way. You know, did you hear about that thing that happened, that crash? Did you hear about that badness? Did you hear this gossip here? Do you hear a lot of that in the world? How many here have watched the news? That's what we see. That's what we hear over and over again. What we hear in is what we take out. Attitudes are very interesting. They're developed at a very early age as well. See, attitudes are developed at such an early age that 95% of our basic attitudes are developed before the age of 5. Now, just a quick survey here. How many have children under the age of 5? So 1, 2, a couple. Raise your hands high so I can see them. How many here have had children under the age of 5? Great, good. All right, I think there were a couple hands. How many here have been a child under the age of 5? Perfect, good. So your attitudes were developed before the age of 5. Think of what are the first 3 words that a baby learns. Mama, Papa, and no. That's right. We tell them no. Are we trying to hurt them? No. We're trying to protect them. Don't talk to strangers. Don't write on the wall. Don't reach for the stove because you might get burned. All these things are designed as parents to help our children. But how do we approach them? We approach them from a negative fashion. Would you agree? This is yes. I see a lot of heads nodding. This is no. Good. We approach it from a negative perspective, and that drives our attitude, our belief system, what we believe. So think about if you just would change that a little bit. As adults, we typically speak in what we call exclusion type language. We talk about what's not there. Children talk about what is there. Have you ever woken up in the morning or gone to a restaurant, somebody asked you, say, hey, how was that dinner last night? And your answer was, oh, not bad. Have you ever done that? Of course, we've all done it. But a kid's going to go, it was great. I loved going to that place. He's telling you what it is as opposed to what it isn't. Think about as you wake up, how do you approach your staff, the people you lead, the people you run into every single day? How do you approach them? Do you approach them with here's what it is, it's good, or it's not bad? It's a simple shift in the way you speak, in the way that you think. That's going to change your attitude. But also, attitude is also the belief systems that we carry with us, and they're given to us by our parents, by our teachers growing up. You see, my father, and I lost my father in 1998. A wonderful man. I miss him dearly. But he was a regular blue-collar working guy. He went out. He actually worked for the telephone company in New Jersey. Don't hate me. I'm from Jersey, okay? I got here as quick as I could. But he was the guy who dug the holes for the telephone poles. Worked. Great man. As a matter of fact, I dedicated my book, my new book, Roll Up Your Sleeves and Get to Work. I dedicated it to him and my mom because 2 of the hardworkingest people I've ever met in my life. And he thought I should be a mechanic. His attitude was that Rick should be a mechanic because he believed that a mechanic was big, strong, good with his hands, and relatively smart. And to him, I fit all those characteristics. That was his belief system, his attitude about that. And attitude about mechanics was great. Now, I'd love to occasionally work on my car or my Harley Davidson or something, but had I embraced what my father's attitude was, I would probably be at the Jiffy Lube today going, would you like 10 W40? And we're going to put 32 pounds of pressure in each one of your tires, ma'am. Okay? But you have to find your attitude. Embrace what's good for you. So, let's talk a little bit about that. Attitude is what it's all about. Attitude is this great multiplier. If you want better results, change the way you think. Change your attitude about what's going on. Think something positive. You'll get better results. It will multiply the results tenfold, I guarantee you. In fact, let's put that to a little test. Would you all like to help me with a little test here? All right. I'm going to give you a goal, and each one of us in the room here will be able to accomplish this goal to some level of success. Is that good? We all like to achieve goals? Okay. So in order to do this, we have to stand up. So I'm going to ask you all to stand up. I know, the speaker made me stand up. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And I've got you doing, I got 3 rules though. Here's the deal. 3 rules. Number 1, you must stay in the room. Stay in the immediate area. Number 2 is don't hurt anybody. Okay? Please don't hurt anyone. Play safe. And number 3 is when I say go, start when I say go, and when I say stop, please stop. You all good with that? Okay, here's your first goal. First goal is this. What I'd like you to do is greet as many people as you possibly can, as if you could care less they even existed. You don't care that they're here. This is the boringest place in the world, and you could care less about that person. But I want you to greet as many people as you can as if you could care less. You ready? Go. Remember, you could care less that they're actually here. This is the boringest thing in the world. And try to greet as many people as you possibly can. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please stop. Ladies and gentlemen, please stop. Excellent job. You look bored out of your minds. It was perfect. Okay, second goal. Here we go. Second goal, right where you are today. Here's the second goal. What I'd like you to do is greet as many people as you possibly can as if it is the best thing to ever happen to you in your life. Ready, go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, okay, you can stop. Stop. Okay, stop. All right, great job. Stop. Okay, stop. Great job, everybody, great job. What was the difference between those 2 goals that you were able to accomplish successfully? What was the difference? It was the attitude you embraced about meeting the people. The attitude. What was the energy level like the first time? A little low, a little boring. How about this last time? Did you feel the energy in this room? It was amazing. You, by a simple attitude change, a simple belief change, you changed the entire dynamic of the room. Ladies and gentlemen, you did a great job. You see, it's all about the attitude you choose to embrace. And I've got a quote here. It says, happiness is an attitude. You see, happiness is an attitude. Whether we make ourselves miserable or happy and strong, it's the amount of work is the same. It takes the same amount of effort to be happy or to be miserable. Which would you rather? Would you rather be happy or would you rather be miserable? Happy. Good answer, by the way. So let's embrace happy. So when you go back to your offices, remember, I'm going to leave you with something you can do. When you go back to your offices, you go back to work, see what you can say positive to that one person. Say hello, say good morning. Find what they are doing right. Do you remember in grammar school we used to get gold stars? How many here love to get gold stars? Didn't we all love to get gold stars? That's right. I'll challenge you. Here's your takeaway for attitude. Go back to your office, look for someone doing right, and give them a gold star. I don't know what it might be. It might be a pat on the back. It might be a handshake. It might be a good job. Give them a gold star. Be conscious about it, though, folks. You got to be conscious about it. Go back and embrace that attitude of happiness, because it takes the same amount of effort. If you're happy or you're miserable, I pick happiness. The second component is commitment. The second component to success is commitment. Now, Vince Lombardi once said, the quality of a person's life is in direct proportion to their commitment to excellence, regardless of their field of endeavor. Vince Lombardi was one of my favorite football coaches of all time. In fact, when I was in 7th and 8th grade, I used to camp out in the library and read books about the Green Bay Packers. I've since been rehabilitated, and I'm now not a Cowboys fan, I'm a Giants fan. Don't be a hater. Don't be a hater. There you go. So I grew up in New Jersey. What the heck? But I loved Vince Lombardi. And in fact, Vince Lombardi had such a commitment to excellence. He would start off every football practice with a simple statement like this. He would say, gentlemen, and remember, he had Hall of Fame players, guys that won Super Bowls, the first Super Bowl they won. He would hold up a football like this. He would say, gentlemen, this is a football. We are going to master the basics. We are going to be excellent at playing this game. We are going to learn to block, we're going to learn to tackle, and we're going to learn to run. His commitment to make that team excellent created champions. What is your commitment to excellence? What's your commitment to you? What commitments will you make to yourself to be the best you can be? What commitments will you make to your team, to the people that you work with every single day, to make them the best that they can be? Back in 1975 and 76, I was a teenager. Yes, I know, it's surprising. But I was a teenager, and I had the distinct pleasure of going to the Pocono Invitational Basketball Camp. In fact, this year is their 50th year. I happened to Google it the other day. It's their 50th year. No, I wasn't there on the first day. The Pocono Invitational Basketball Camp in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. And I loved to play basketball. You see, I'm 6'4". I was only about 160 pounds. I was about that big. I've filled out a little bit since then, as you can tell. But I loved the game of basketball. I loved that game, my favorite game. And I had a commitment. I wanted to be the best I could be. So I committed to practicing, and going to camp. In fact, I wanted to go so bad, I even offered to work at the camp as a counselor so I could pay my way. See, Mom and Dad were raising 4 kids. I was the oldest of 4. Mom and Dad were raising 4 kids on a guy who digs holes for telephone poles salary. It was tough. So I got to go on a scholarship. So I got to go up and be a counselor to the Pocono Invitational Basketball Camp. And this is where I met the man who taught me about commitment, made a life-changing commitment to me. And in fact, we've got the Final Fours coming to Dallas. Is it next week, right? You got familiar with that? It's coming right here to, well, Jerry World. The Final Four is coming. We've got games tonight, games on Saturday, right? The man I met, some of you may have heard of. His name was Coach Jim Valvano. Coach Jimmy V. I was a 15, 16-year-old boy, and Coach Jim Valvano, little Italian fire plug of a guy, little spitfire of a guy. He was one of the coaches. He was coaching at Little Iona College in New York. And he taught us about commitment. He made a commitment to excellence. He made a commitment to help us as young players become better. He made a commitment to show us what it was all about, to be a great player and person. And I learned incredible character, and I learned incredible basketball skills from him. You see, I told you I was a little bit bigger than most of the other kids playing. I grew a little faster. So I got to be a counselor. So I was in charge of 12 and 13-year-old boys. I was 16. So I had my own cabin. But the good news about that was I got to play with the college kids who were the senior counselors. I got to play with college-age basketball players. And trust me, I took my bumps. I took a licking here and there. But Coach Valvano, he taught us one thing. He told us to be a rat. He says, to be successful, you got to be a rat, kid. Like, what is a rat? You got to be a rat. You got to be a defensive rat. You got to play, and you got to protect the basket. Make a commitment to your team. And that's what he taught us, was to make a commitment to your team, make a commitment to your position, make a commitment to be the best. Matter of fact, he used to carry a little skateboard around. He had this little skateboard, had a little fuzzy rat on it. And one camper each week would get it for like 2 days if he proved he was a defensive rat. Now, in order to be a defensive rat in Jim Valvano's eyes, you had to take a charge. Yeah, take a charge. Now, how many here know what taking a charge is all about? Yeah. Is it fun? No, it's not. For those that are going, what the heck is a charge? A charge is this. A charge is where you make a commitment, you take a stand to protect the basket from an oncoming player, and you're going to let him run you over. Sounds like fun, right? Oh, yeah. Now, remember, I'm 16, 165 pounds, playing against college kids that are 6'7", 200 pounds. So here I am out every single day, and I'm taking the charge. I'm planting my feet, and I'm taking the charge. Boom, getting hit, getting run over every single day. So I concocted this crazy, crazy, crazy idea. Here was my idea. I'm going to get the skateboard because I'm going to take a charge from Coach Valvano. I'm going to let him run me over. So we concocted, my friend Freddie Hill and I, we concocted this idea. We knew that he would run across the whole camp to go to meetings back and forth, and he was all full of fire. He was going faster and faster. He'd be heading one way, and he'd turn around and head the other way, and he was just going 100 miles an hour. So we sat on the side of a building like this, and here comes Coach Valvano. I said, Fred, tell me when he goes. Okay. And Fred's watching him. And here comes Coach Valvano down the side of the building. He comes out, and I step out. Boom! He hits me right in the chest, knocks me flat on my bottom. And I look up, and he looks down at me, and I look up. I said, Coach, I took the charge. And I'm a rat. I'm playing a rat. He says, kid, what are you doing? I said, Coach, I want the skateboard. I was a rat. Do I get the skateboard? He says, kid, get off your ass. Come here. He picks me up. I said, Coach, I took the charge. I'm being a rat. Can I get the board? He says, kid, don't ever do that again. Here's the board. You can have the skateboard. So for 2 days, I got to carry that skateboard. See, he taught us what commitment was all about. What commitments will you make to your team? What are the commitments that you're going to make to the people around you that depend on you every single day? What are those commitments that you'll make? What are they? Are you ready to make those commitments, folks? Are you ready? Well, let's take a look. And I'll show you a little something that's a little fun. There's my 1975. I'm the guy in the hat on that side, on the right side. Just so you know. That would be me. But the truth is you got to make a commitment. Make a commitment to your people. Here's what I will do. And the only way to do it is to tell them what you will do. Be clear, be concise, and tell them exactly what you will be doing for them, and when you'll do it, and how you will do that. You know, and getting that skateboard was one of those aha moments for me. Gave it up. And this morning I had another aha moment. In fact, I'm really excited to be here. And so I decided I was going to have a good breakfast. I usually don't eat lunch when I do over lunch. I usually wait to eat. So I decided to have a good, healthy, big breakfast. And I decided to have my favorite breakfast, bacon and eggs, right? Who here doesn't like bacon? Bacon's like manna. I think instead of, the Bible might have gotten it wrong. It wasn't manna from heaven. It was bacon from heaven that they were feeding them, because that's the good stuff, right? So I had a bacon and eggs breakfast. And I got thinking, as I'm sitting there having my bacon and eggs, I said, this is a good example of commitment. I was thinking about, what did it take to bring this breakfast to me this morning? Well, it took a commitment on some parts, and it took involvement on other parts. You see, the chicken was involved. The pig, now he was committed. Okay. See, ask yourself this. Are you chicken, or are you committed? Are you committed to your team, to yourself, and to your success? Become committed. Become committed to it. And the third factor in making things happen and getting what you want is very simple, is action. Ladies and gentlemen, action is what it is all about. The reason most people don't take action is very simple. Rick, we talked about this a little bit earlier. And Rick got to Texas. He didn't get here as quick as he could. He took a little detour and some time. And I think the word procrastination came up. That's why we don't take action. We procrastinate. In fact, does anyone know what the largest nation in the world is? Anyone know? Largest nation in the world. Simple. Russia. I hear Russia. I heard China. And no, not Russia, not China. It's procrastination because we all live in it. Okay, it's procrastination. We all live in it. There you go. I know the alcohol is still wearing out from last night. I get it. So, but how many here have procrastinated at some time in their life with doing something? Yeah, we all procrastinate. Why do we procrastinate? Why do we not take action? It's very simple. We don't have clear goals. No clear objectives to what you want. It's important to have clear goals. It's important to have clear objectives. Do you start your year out? I mean, business plans, we all have to write business plans. We all have to write budgets. Those are goals. Do you have personal goals for yourself? How many here have personal goals for themselves? How many here write them down every single year? How many here are accomplishing them? All the same hands, by the way. I can see it from here. All the same hands. See, goal setting is so important. It will take you to the next level. Goals are critical. I do a lot of executive coaching, one-on-one executive coaching, as well as group dynamic coaching. And one of the core components to what I teach everyone that I come in contact with is setting specific measurable goals. In fact, I call them SMART way goals. If you have your pens out, I'll give you a little something to take away. I told you, inform you on something. SMART way goals. These are Coach Rick's SMART way goals. In fact, I have a couple of GPSs in the back, which are my goal planning systems. You're welcome to them. They'll be at the back table back there. I have some, and you're welcome to them, or I'll send them to you electronically. It's my gift for having me here today. So stop back at the table, get yourself a goal planning system sheet, and you can duplicate it and use it over and over again. But goals are so important. But they have to be specific. That's the S in SMART way. They have to be measurable. They have to be attainable. They must be relevant and realistically high. They must have a time frame on them. They must be written. They must be aligned, and they must be yours. Then you can begin to set and get action. When you know where you want to go, then you can begin to build the roadmap to get there. That's the action steps behind it all. So action is so critical. And goal setting is such a big component of it. In fact, I may have mentioned I have daughters. I have two college-age daughters now. One's still a teenager. Pray for me, please. Daughters, even. And but 9 years ago, my daughter Lauren, she came to me and she said, "Daddy, I need to set a goal." I said, "Oh, this is cool. She's learning Dad's stuff. She's paying attention a little bit." She's 9 years old. She's now 18. "So, what do you want to do?" She says, "I need to make $86, Daddy." Like, okay, what do you need $86 for, Lauren? She says, "I found this stuff in the limited catalog, and I want this chair, and I want this wall, and I want this lamp for my room." I said, "Great, $86, that's great. So let's, matter of fact, let's take a piece of paper out and let's write this down." She goes, "Oh, no, Daddy." I said, "What?" She says, "I want one of your special goal planning sheets. I want one of your GPS systems. We're going to use that." And I'm going, she is listening. This stuff's working. Yeah, she's taking it up. So we sit down and we map out a specific measurable, a SMART way goal for her. And the goal ended up being to make $100. Now, she had come to me this is June. She had come to me in June, and we had decided that she was going to set a goal to make $100, 9 years old, by October 31st. Pretty good goal. So we set out to what actions do we have to take. And she realized she had to take some action. She says, "Daddy, I don't have a job. I'm 9. For goodness sakes, what am I going to make any money?" So, "Well, we'll get you some jobs. We'll get you to take action and give you some jobs around the house." So I asked her, I said, "Lauren, what could you do?" She said, "Well, I could take my clothes to the laundry." I said, "Great, I'll give you $1. She says, "I could pick up my room." "Great, I'll give you another $1. She says, "I could pick up the dishes from dinner." "Give you another $1. I could wash the dishes. I could empty the dishwasher. I said, that's $1. That's $1. She says, what else can I do? I said, how about you clean up the dog stuff in the backyard? She goes, no, I'm not doing that. I said, but I'll give you $2. She goes, oh, okay, for $2, I'll do it. So she sets off on this goal achievement path for her. And over the course of time, she's cleaning stuff, picking stuff up. And Melissa will tell you, because she knows my daughter, Lauren. In fact, you now all know my daughter, Lauren. You can tell there's a little devil in that little girl right there. So she sets out on this journey of goal setting. And Lauren, and I love my little Lauren. Gosh, I miss her. She marches along all summer, is working, she's doing things in her, and the house is clean, for goodness sakes. I love it. Her room's clean, the dishes are clean, the dishwasher's empty. I'm loving it. Of course, I'm paying $1 at a time. I know I'm cheap. Child labor laws don't count in chores. So she's working along, and I will remember this forever. October 14th, she comes to me, she goes, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. I said, what, Lauren? She goes, I have $104. I said, great. You want to order that stuff from the catalog? She goes, no. What do you mean, no? She goes, no. I need to make another $100. Okay, you need to make another $100. Well, let's figure out why. The dad's answer is, the professor answer is, why? Well, again, be careful the questions that you ask. You will get unlikely answers. She goes, Daddy, I've realized I don't want that stuff, but now I want an iPod Nano. So she set out to make another $100 because they're $200 at the time. And she set out and she did it again. You see, that little girl used the same process that I can teach you, your staff, every executive that I deal with, every person that I coach, train, or come in contact with. This 9-year-old little girl can use the same system and have success, just like you can have success by using this. So in front of you, you will find an index card. In front of everyone, there is an index card on the table in front of you someplace. What I'd like you to do is to take a moment, write out 3 things you want to accomplish this year. You might want to make one short in the next month or so. You might want to make one a little bit longer, maybe 30 days. You want to make one 60 days, 90 days. You want to make one for the end of the year. Write down 3 things you want to accomplish. 3 things you want to accomplish. And as you do that, realize that this one simple fact: goals are critical to success. Without goals, you have no point of reference, no direction, no end game. Dr. Stephen Covey said in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, begin with the end in mind. Know where you want to go, and then build the road to get there. You have an opportunity to design it. And these goals can be personal, they can be professional. They can be anything you want them to be. Because you know what? They're yours. Goal getting is critical. But goal getting is what's going to make things happen. It's the actions that you take, because your actions are going to come from the goals that you set for yourself today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the key. Having the right attitude. Making a commitment. You've just made a commitment. You've written down what you want to do. And setting goals and taking action is going to help you become the best leader, manager, owner, person that you can be. And my goal today, I told you, was threefold. But I'm going to add one more thing. My goal here is to hope and try to give you my best so that when you leave here today, you're inspired enough to go back. You're incited enough to go back to your people that you lead, people you manage, to your organizations, and share some great ideas with them on happiness, on doing things. In fact, I hope I'm just that spark for you. That I'm that spark that just lights that little tiny little spark for you. And by the way, my friend Coach Jim Valvano. Coach Jim Valvano, he carried around a white index card, just like I do. See, I carry one in my pocket with my goals everywhere I go. Coach Jim Valvano, at the age of 17, He wrote out on a simple white index card, just like you did, the goals he wanted to accomplish professionally. He wanted to play high school and college basketball. He then wanted to coach and become a head coach in college. He wanted to win a game in Madison Square Garden. And finally, his final goal was to cut the nets down at a national championship. And in 1983, he took an unlikely underdog team of North Carolina State and took them to the NCAA final, which, happenstance, this year's is right here around the corner. And right in Fort Worth is where a lot of the activities, ESPN's going to set up right in Sundance Square, where you were last night. So when you're watching it on TV or you come down to visit, you'll know that you're part of history. You see, Coach Jim Valvano, in 1993, gave one of the most impassioned, motivational speeches I have ever seen. And I recommend highly that you look it up on YouTube. Coach Jim V, or go to the V Foundation. Coach Jim Valvano put one other goal on his card, and his other goal was to beat cancer. In 1993, in March at the ESPY Awards, Coach Valvano looked out on an audience full of cancer and said, never, never, never give up. Don't ever give up, folks. We lost him a month later. Isn't that a crazy looking little Italian man? Isn't that great? That was the man who taught me about commitment. Put me on a path. I saw a documentary on him, and his wife had this to say. The one thing that really resonated with me, she says, you know what, that Jim, I loved him to death, but he always carried around that damn white index card. And I've met his best friend, Dick Vitale. He's another announcer, was his best friend, and guess what Dick carries around with him? That damn white index card that Coach Valvano gave him. In fact, next week, I have the honor and privilege, this book, with those stories in it, those stories and others about Coach Valvano, I'm giving it to Dick Vitale as my gift to him. You see, folks, it's all about embracing the right attitude. It's all about making the right commitment, and it's all about getting into action. You've got all the tools you need right now. You've got everything that you need. The question is, are you going to leave today, walk out, whatever you learn, all the great rest of the breakout sessions, all the other things that you've learned and you've seen and you've done, are you going to take those back, embrace them, and do something with them? And how can you make a difference in one person's life today, tomorrow, or next week? You know, folks, it's all about that. It's all about the right action, unlikely circumstances, the proper motivation, the right attitude, a commitment to excellence, and finally, just simply taking action. Folks, I challenge you today as we wrap up today is to do one simple thing. Go out, change your life, roll up your sleeves, and get to work. I thank you for your time here today, and God bless and do good.